All right, so today we are going deep into dynamic covalent chemistry.
Sounds exciting.
It is, I think everyone kind of gets the basics of molecules and bonds.
Right, like the building blocks of chemistry.
Exactly, but what about bonds that can break and reform?
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, right, so that's what we're talking about today.
Like those bonds can detach and reattach.
Yeah, and they can make materials that can self-heal or adapt.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine like a cut on your skin healing.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
It's like that, but at a molecular level.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we are looking at Cocktail Party Chemistry, episode 119 for this deep dive.
Oh, I love that podcast.
Me too. They always do a great job explaining things.
Yeah, they really break it down.
Exactly. So that's what we are going to try to do here today.
Awesome.
So what is the key to all this?
Well, it's something called reversible covalent bonds.
Reversible covalent bonds.
Yeah, they're different from the usual covalent bonds.
How so?
Well, those typical bonds, they're like really strong glue.
Okay.
But these reversible bonds, they can actually come apart and then reattach.
So it's not a permanent bond.
Right, and that's what lets those molecules rearrange themselves.
Interesting. So instead of like a fixed structure,
Uh-huh.
we get something that can change, a dynamic system.
You got it.
I'm picturing like molecules just kind of like shifting around, changing partners at a time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like a molecular dance party.
But why is this so important? Why is it groundbreaking?
Because, think about it, this opens up a whole new world for material design.
Okay.
Imagine a material that can just change its properties whenever it needs to.
Like how?
It could adapt to different environments, different situations.
So it's not just one thing. It can be many things.
Exactly. The potential here is just mind-blowing.
Okay, hold on. I need to make sure I'm understanding this right.
Sure.
We're talking about materials that could, like, repair themselves, like living tissue.
Exactly. Like, what if your car's paint could heal a scratch by itself?
No more trips to the body shop.
Right. Or a phone screen that could fix its own cracks.
That would be a lifesaver.
Seriously. And Cocktail Party Chemistry, they pointed out some really cool applications too,
Like what?
like in drug delivery systems.
Oh, right. They talked about that.
Imagine a drug that only works where it's needed, like right at the spot of a disease.
So less of those side effects.
Yeah, that's the kind of precision we could get with dynamic covalent chemistry.
Wow, this is incredible.
It is, right?
But I have to ask, how does it actually work?
How do we get those amazing properties from reversible bonds?
Yeah, like what's the secret sauce?
Well, one of the big advantages is that it allows for error correction.
Error correction?
Yep, during molecular assembly. It's like, imagine a Lego set that can fix itself.
Oh, I see.
Even if you make a mistake putting it together, the pieces rearrange until they're perfect.
So it's like quality control, but at the molecular level.
Precisely. And that's how we can build those really complex nanostructures.
The kind of stuff they're doing in nanotechnology.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like we're learning to use nature's language.
Oh, I like that.
Taking those static molecules and giving them the dynamism of life.
It's bridging the gap between those two worlds.
It's like we're upgrading from basic building blocks to these smart, adaptable materials.
And all thanks to dynamic covalent chemistry.
Yeah, so we've got these bonds that can break and reform, creating these dynamic, self-correcting systems.
Uh-huh.
And it's all inspired by how nature does things.
You got it.
The applications just seem limitless.
They really do.
But let's get down to brass tacks. How are scientists actually using this right now?
Good point. Let's look at some real-world applications.
Okay, let's start with smart materials. That's where things get really interesting.
All right, smart materials it is. All right, so smart materials, this is where it gets really cool.
Yeah, smart materials. It's like something out of science fiction.
It really does sound like it.
Materials changing based on their environment.
Right, but it's becoming a reality.
And it's all thanks to those reversible bonds, right?
Exactly. They're what allow us to create materials that can respond to all sorts of things.
So we're basically building in sensors right into the material.
Pretty much, yeah.
But what kind of things can they respond to? What kind of stimuli?
Well, lots of things like temperature changes, light, pressure, even specific chemicals.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and by using those dynamic covalent bonds, we can actually make the material's properties change.
Okay, so how are scientists using this? Give me some concrete examples.
Sure, so one area that's getting a lot of attention is self-healing coatings.
Okay.
Like, imagine your car paint could actually repair itself after a scratch.
That would be a game changer.
Right.
No more worrying about little dings and scratches.
Exactly, and researchers are actually developing polymers that can do this.
How?
Well, they use these reversible bonds that let the material kind of flow back together.
Wow, so it can actually heal the damage.
That's the idea, yeah.
That's amazing, but what about other applications besides fixing scratches?
Oh, there are tons. How about shape memory alloys?
Shape memory alloys, what are those?
So these are materials that can remember their original shape.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, even if you bend or deform them, they can go back.
And dynamic covalent chemistry helps with this?
Yep. We can use it to create alloys that change their shape based on temperature.
Oh, wow.
So you could have things like self-assembling structures or medical implants that adapt to the body.
That's incredible. We can actually program materials to do these complex things now.
It really is a whole new era for material science.
It's mind-blowing.
It is, and the potential uses are just huge.
Like, what else can we do with this?
Well, think about drug delivery systems or sensors that can detect specific molecules.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Even materials that can change color or texture.
So it's not just about making things stronger, it's about giving them a kind of intelligence?
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Like making them responsive, adaptable.
Exactly.
But how do scientists actually design these smart materials? It seems so complicated.
It is challenging, for sure.
Yeah, like how do you control all those tiny molecular interactions?
It takes a lot of expertise. You need a deep understanding of both chemistry and materials science.
So it's not just trial and error, there's a real science behind it
Oh, yeah, definitely. Researchers are always developing new ways to control those bonds.
to make them stronger or weaker or make them react to different stimuli.
Exactly.
It's like trying to find the perfect recipe.
Haha, kind of, yeah.
But what are some of the big challenges in this field?
Well, one of the biggest is finding that right balance between stability and responsiveness.
What do you mean?
Well, if those bonds break too easily, the material won't be strong enough.
Oh, right.
But if they're too strong, it won't be able to adapt as quickly.
So you need to find that sweet spot.
Yeah, that's the key.
But it sounds like scientists are making progress. Are there any breakthroughs that are particularly exciting?
Oh, absolutely. They're exploring all kinds of different dynamic, covalent bond types.
Each with their own unique properties.
Exactly.
So they're looking at different molecular structures, different triggers, different combinations.
Yep, it's a very active area of research.
This is all really cool, but I do have to ask, are there any potential downsides to this technology?
That's a good question.
Like, what if these smart materials start acting in ways we didn't expect?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Like, what if they malfunction or something?
Right, and that's why it's so important to test them
So
thoroughly.
you make sure they're safe and predictable.
Exactly. Responsible development is crucial.
Well, that's good to hear. It's reassuring that scientists are thinking about those risks.
They are, definitely.
But let's switch gears for a bit and talk about something a little less futuristic, but still really important.
Okay.
Drug delivery systems. How is dynamic covalent chemistry changing that field?
That's a great transition, actually, because it's making a huge impact already.
Okay, let's dive into that then. So we're back, and we've been talking about this amazing dynamic covalent chemistry.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, right?
It is, and one of the places where it seems to be making a real difference is in drug delivery.
Uh-huh. Drug delivery systems.
We talked about it a little earlier.
Yeah, we touched on it.
But I wanted to really understand how it's changing things.
Okay, yeah, let's dig into that.
So how is dynamic covalent chemistry actually improving drug delivery?
Well, with traditional drug delivery
Yeah.
methods, it's kind of like,
A shotgun approach.
yeah, exactly. Like you're just spreading the drug everywhere.
And that affects healthy cells too, right?
Right, not just the ones you're trying to target.
And that's what causes all those side effects.
Yeah, precisely.
So how does dynamic covalent chemistry make it more targeted?
Okay, so imagine this. You
Right.
attach the drug to a molecule, right?
Okay.
And this molecule, it's designed to bind to, let's say, a receptor.
Like on a cell.
Yeah, on the surface of a disease cell.
So it kind of like homes in on the target.
Exactly. It acts like a homing beacon.
I like that, a homing beacon.
And here's where the reversible bond comes in.
Okay, I'm listening.
The bond between the drug and that targeting molecule,
Uh-huh.
we can design it to break apart.
When?
And it reaches the target.
Oh, wow.
So the drug is only released where it's needed.
So it's like it's delivering a package right to the address.
Yeah, instead of just scattering it all over the place.
And that's all thanks to dynamic covalent chemistry.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is amazing. Are there any examples of this in action, like real-world treatments?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like what?
Well, cancer therapy is a big one.
Cancer therapy. Okay.
Researchers are developing these drug conjugates
Uh-huh.
that can target cancer cells specifically.
So they deliver the chemo drugs right to the tumor,
Exactly.
and that spares the healthy tissue.
Right. So it's a more effective treatment, but also less toxic.
That's huge. Are they looking at this for other diseases too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like what?
Well, they're investigating it for autoimmune diseases,
Okay.
infectious diseases, even neurological disorders.
Wow. So many possibilities.
Yeah, because if you can deliver the drug right to the problem area,
It opens up a whole new world.
it really does.
It's like personalized medicine tailored to each individual.
That's the goal, yeah.
This is really inspiring. It feels like dynamic covalent chemistry is going to change medicine,
I think so too.
making treatments more targeted, more effective, and just better overall.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable how something like a chemical bond
Uh-huh.
can have such a big impact on our health.
It really is. This whole deep dive has been
It
incredible.
has been really interesting, yeah.
We've learned so much about these reversible bonds
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
and how they're revolutionizing materials, science and medicine.
From self-healing materials to targeted drug delivery,
It's clear that dynamic covalent chemistry is the future.
it's definitely shaping the future, that's for sure.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's so much more to discover.
Who knows what other amazing things they'll find out.
It's exciting to think about, right?
It really is. It just reminds you that science is always moving forward,
Always pushing the boundaries.
always finding new ways to make things better,
And sometimes those breakthroughs come from the smallest things.
like a chemical bond breaking and
Yes,
reforming.
exactly.
Well, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
To all our listeners out there, stay curious, keep asking questions.
And never stop exploring.
This is the deep dive, signing off.